Riders ready, watch the gate.
Welcome to stop number 3 of the UCI BMX Supercross World Cup Tour. I'm Pete Dylewski. We're here in Papendal, Holland for that third round, and it's a beautiful day out here today for the riders. The elite riders are on track practicing, and we're going to get you a preview of this course, newly changed here in Papendal, what is the biggest and baddest outdoor supercross track. And yesterday we had Barry Nobles take a run around the track here to give you a point of view of what it was like to ride this track here in Papendal. So here you see Barry is in the gate, and he's going to be following Bodie Turner around the track, and you can see this whole entire first straightaway is changed, going to the same first turn, and then again, this is where everything changes. It's a completely new second straightaway for these riders as they get through that track, and you can see here they have that jump over the berm for the elite men. The women will go underneath. Coming down to this third straightaway, things have changed. There's a big step jump there, and this third straightaway has always been one of those most technical runs on the supercross track. Come into that last straightaway and things are going to be the same, trying to climb uphill, get through that rhythm section, and you can see right here Barry has all the power he needs to get himself across that finish line into here in Papendal. So as we said, it's a beautiful day here. It's the first time in the last few years that I know that there's not rain out here in Papendal, but what there are is the most amount of riders signed up for a supercross to date. This is the last qualifier for nations and teams, for those nations and riders, for those Olympic qualifying spots for the countries as well as the riders. So that must have something to do with it. But again, this track out here, as we can see behind us, is pretty gnarly. So we're in the middle of Elite Group A's practice run. So you'll see some of the riders just focusing on that first straightaway right now with the gate. They just started the gates up not too long ago. So it'll be interesting to see once we get riders around the full track. But as you can see, this track's pretty big here. And right now, a lot of the riders have been out here the last week or so riding on that track. So practice may be a little light compared to normal. But this track is relentless. It's not going to give a break to anyone. Even the local riders here, the Dutch national team, they were actually out of the country doing a training camp in the United States of America, I believe in Sarasota, Oldsmar, and the Florida area, prepping for this season when all the changes went down. So they actually haven't had a lot of time to ride because their training camps ended. We went to Argentina, so they went to Rio. So there's not been a lot of riders on the track to date. So it'll be interesting to see how everybody takes to it. We'll see a key point on this track right behind us is turn number 2. And if we pan off, you see this big step jump coming out of the turn. That step jump is going to make a lot of changes in the race if a rider doesn't get perfect backside on it. We've had riders, already tell us what it's been like if you overjump that, if you come up short, and they said that's going to be a key turning part in that race, because starting from the part of the track down that second straightaway, they said you can overjump that. You can overjump that second turn, but when you go through this whole track, the whole, in an actual race, it's going to be pretty difficult for them to get to this point of the track and see if they're able to get through this track. So it'll be interesting to see as we have riders from all over. And a rider that we love to see, somebody with the most personality on the tour, Sylvain Andre. Sylvain, how you doing?
I'm good. The sun is here, so we have to take it.
Yeah, it's a rarity for Europe in general, but it's nice, and especially here at Papendal. I can't remember the last time. So talk about the changes out here on the track. You've got to ride it a little bit, and talk about the changes here in Papendal.
Yeah, we did ride with the team like 10 days ago, like 2 weekends ago. I mean, it's cool because now it goes straight, so there is no problem with going side and this kind of S-turn or asphalt. But it's not that smooth, so I did prefer the old track. But I guess for racing, this layout is better.
Well, anything's going to be better when it's dry, but as you said, the track's a little rough. I know that, especially I can see down that last straightaway, looks like nobody's even riding it yet. It looks like no one's touched it. But the rest of the track itself, you said, talk about the big changes down the first straightaway and second straightaway.
Yeah, the second straightaway is cool because it's really long, but at the same time it's pretty flat, and the first one is pretty big. So second one and bump jump are kind of small, okay? But the first one is big, and I remember 10 days ago when we have some same condition but with the wind in front wind in second straight, we didn't even jump the first one. So I think that'd be interesting to see the weather will play a big role for the race, that's for sure.
And then to see the first jump is asphalt, the second turn is cement concrete. Talk about what the differences are for you as a rider trying to make moves in each of those turns.
It's cool because the first one is asphalt and it's like kind of good asphalt. Then you have like a good concrete, but the last one is like kind of dirty. So like you have to adapt your move with the turn because you cannot do the same move in the 3 different turns. So I think that's good because you have different options, many lines. So I think there will be some good action in that second turn.
All right, well, I've seen you make some action-packed moves in that turn, so it'll be interesting to see it. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, Pete.
All right, so it's good to get that insight view. As we said, Sylvain Andre, he was able to ride the track last week. As we said, we had a lot of riders out here who are doing some training camps. And a rider that knows this track pretty well, I would say, and someone that's had good success on this track, that'll be Nick Kimman. Nick, thanks for joining us during your practice. So we're just talking about the changes on the track. So if you can maybe just enlighten everyone how, from your perspective on the difference of the track from the race last year and what we should see now.
Oh yeah, they changed the first jump. It was like a triple, but it's maybe a bit more technical now, a little bit bigger. They changed the second straight. It's also a little bit bigger than it was, but with the wind now, it's not that difficult. Then you have the third straight with the step up like they have in Rio. So it's basically everything's changed except the last straight.
So for you, you know, I expressed it. We sat down with Nick earlier in the week, had an interview, and you know he told us he was gone when they did all these changes, and they haven't had a lot of time on the track. So in the time you've had on it, can you talk about the differences of riding in that first turn, which is asphalt, versus that second turn, which is cement?
You know, it's a turn and it's packed in, so it's hard. It's not that much different if you ride asphalt, concrete, or bricks. So it's just the way it looks. Maybe the new turns have a bit more grip than the old ones, but it shouldn't affect us that much.
Okay, good, because I know we've had some people that already question like the different surfaces, but it's good to hear that coming from you. And then that second straightaway is completely different. So just explain the differences on what the straightaway holds now for you guys as you come out of turn 1.
First it was a little bit smaller, but a little bit steeper as well. So it was a bit more technical, and now it's just wide open. Just make sure you get speed out the first turn, because you will need it on the second straight. It's just wide open, no need to brake, just full gas all the way out.
So, as we said, the sun's out. For you, you had an incredible run here last year. What are you expecting to do here this year? I know, you always want to get on that gate and win, but, coming into this race, how are you feeling and what do you expect from yourself over the course of the weekend?
I'm feeling good now. The first 2 World Cups weren't exactly what I was looking for, but I'm feeling better. I'm just going to go out, do the best I can. That's all I can do.
All right, well, thank you so much. We appreciate it. It's always interesting and fulfilling to get the words from a world champion, especially someone when we're in his home country. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, so as we've heard, it's going to be a lot of good racing going on here, and we should expected to see Nick out there doing that battle. Last year, he was kind of off the radar for anyone. It was his first full season as an elite rider, his first full season, first main event that he made was here, and as we all know, he went on to win that main event, which was pretty exciting. So we've had some riders. We've have a lot of riders that have been on the tour for the last few years, and one of the guys that we've always excited to see, Rezende, 500. One of those guys had an early season injury, so he hasn't been at the first few races. Welcome back to the tour.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so happy to be here. That atmosphere, it's just amazing. I'm here.
So yeah, you had a little bit of an injury. I don't know if you want to, share too much about it, but when did it happen, and how are you in your recovery at this point?
Yeah, I just broke my collarbone in Oldsmar, I think 2 months ago, and I did the surgery, and I did everything I can to recover fast, and I'm feeling really good on the track. That's amazing.
So it's exciting to have you back on the tour for sure, but this is the last World Cup, then we have our World Championships, and then we're all going to head down to your part of the world for the Olympic Games. Talk about for you, especially, seeing all the changes going on there, what we should expect once we get down there for those Olympics.
Yeah, I want to use both races now for training and back to my best. And everyone in Brazil is so excited about the Olympics and about the World Championship too. It's really close to Brazil, Colombia. A lot of Brazilians gonna come to watch and race and challenger. So everyone in Brazil is so excited, and me too.
And so for us to watch you race here this weekend coming, and how are you feeling, and what do you expect from yourself once we get on the track that's been changed? So it's a little bit, I think it's a little bit a better racing track. But what are your thoughts on it?
I did ride here 1 week ago, so before ride here I did just 3 times in the small track, so was like, but I'm feeling really good on the big jumps. It's harder when you back. The small jump is really hard, but the big one is good. So I hope I can do a good race. I want to qualify for the finals, so I don't know. I just want to enjoy, and what I can do will be fine.
All right, and so we always like to get the multicultural fans excited. So talk to the fans of your country in Portuguese.
Ei galera, estamos de volta. Estou muito feliz de estar aqui. Conto com a torcida de todos. E vai Brasil!
All right. Well, we are cheering you on. Good luck, and thanks for making it back on the tour. So Ronaldo Rezende, number 500, one of those guys. He's been on the tour. He's made those finals. A lot of excitement from him. He's one of those riders that can always light up. He's always smiling no matter what, and we're excited to see him back on tour. So as we said, we have a lot of riders coming through, and we're trying to pull guys off the track for their little bit of time out here while we have this 30-minute preview show. And a guy that we definitely want to get in is Trent Jones. Sometimes we forget about our friends down in New Zealand, but Trent, how you doing, and how are you liking the new track out here?
I'm doing well, thanks. The track's great. It's nice to have a change and get rid of a crossover and have wide open straights. I'm loving it.
And for you, you've been riding really well as of late. Coming in here, what are your expectations for yourself this weekend?
Just take it one lap at a time, and obviously I've made a main before, so I put myself in that same position and have a crack at getting on the box.
And then we just have about 3 weeks, so what will you do? We know travel's a big part of the sport. What will you do in the next 3 weeks before we head down to wherever, Colombia for the World Championships?
I'm actually heading straight down to Florida, so New Zealand, myself, and Sarah Walker and Matt Cameron are all going down there, and we'll train at Oldsmar for a couple of weeks, get in the time zone, and fly straight down to Colombia and race.
All right, well, we look forward to seeing you on track and hopefully in that main event this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, so as we said, a lot of people from around all over the world, New Zealand. And next up, what we will do is, we have a liaison that works between the riders and the UCI Association. This year, in a new position, and you may notice the name. It'll be Yvonne Lapraz from Sweden. He's from Switzerland. I get that mixed up sometimes, but that was a joke this time. So Yvonne, welcome to the show. Talk about your new role that you have here on the Supercross Tour. You're not on the gate anymore. Well, you're not on your bike on the gate anymore.
I'm actually not able to race anymore. So they offered me that new job at the UCI, which is the technical delegate. And the job is pretty much mostly just getting the track ready before the event and just make sure everything is perfect for racing, and that we can have the best event that we can, really.
And as a rider, when you were competing, you're one of the vocal guys that always wanted to make sure that the rider's safety was in mind, as well as the best conditions. So that's a perfect position for you. So now how are you adapting that? Because as you know, nobody's ever satisfied on either side, but I know you've been doing a great job so far. Everyone seems to be pretty happy.
Yeah, I just pretty much, look at it the way I would like it to be if I was still racing. So, the track has to be as, obviously we don't have that much time because we got in yesterday and practice just started now. So we've got a little bit over 24 hours to get everything ready. So we do what we can with what we have, really. But I think we did a good job with the track. It's actually a lot cleaner than yesterday, and it's a lot smoother, and now you can actually use the whole track, where before it was pretty much just one line in the middle that they used for training. So we got the rest of the track ready, and also if it's really windy or if it's raining and it gets dangerous, it's also up to me to take a decision of what we can do, and if we change the format of the event, if we cancel the event, or if we just all these decisions are now up to me, which is a big responsibility for sure, and I hope we don't have to ever decide to cancel an event or anything like that. But I think I'm in a good position to know what's best for the riders and what's best for everyone. So we should be okay.
Yeah, we're definitely excited to see someone like yourself in that role. And as you said, we hope we never have to give you those really tough decisions, but when they come along, we know you'll make the right decision based on the riders' feedback and your past experience. So thanks so much for all your help, what you're doing out here, and your continued success in your role with the UCI.
Thanks for having me, and see you guys around.
So, from past rider to now administrator here on the Supercross track, we'll get back to riders. So, we always do this during the men's practice, and we never want to forget about the women. But the women's practice is in a few hours. But we were lucky enough to see Marilee van Bentham out cruising around. So welcome. You can come. I won't bite you. It's okay. So, it's nice here, for once. It's awesome. So talk about we talked about all the changes on the men's side. So talk about the changes on the women's side and how the track is for you to ride.
Yeah, the track's definitely improved. It's way more flowy, and I really like it. They did a really good job changing it, and I really do like it.
So these changes down the second straightaway, I think for the women are probably the most on the track. Can you just talk us through what it's like to ride down that second straightaway?
Yeah, that second straight is just like really flowy, and you just flow and you jump, and it's really fun.
All right, well, we're glad to see you back out on the track this weekend. Can you keep it upright through all the practice this time?
Yeah. I'll try to survive practice and then actually get to race.
All right, and so we let Renato Rezende was here. We let him speak to his fans in Portuguese. It wouldn't be complete without a little bit of Dutch for the fans. So.
Yeah, of course. Ik hoop dat jullie allemaal komen dit weekend en kunnen een mooie show van maken met z'n allen. En ja, ik hoop jullie te zien hier zaterdag en zondag.
Exactly what I was thinking. So thanks so much for joining us. Good luck this weekend. We're excited to see you back on track.
Yeah, thank you, Pete.
All right, so always interesting to get that mindset from these riders. So we have a few others floating around the track. We'll grab them in just a few minutes. So it's going to be a good battle here because we see two really good riders, one just right off the track and one from her new coaching position. So next up, number 100, number one in a lot of people's hearts, Mariana Pahon. Mariana, thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here with you guys.
So, you see the new track, you got to ride it a little bit already. What are your thoughts on the new track here in Papendal?
The track is looking really good. It's still technical, it's windy, so that's gonna make something different. And yeah, it's looking like Rio, so we're gonna have much fun here.
So for you, you've had great success here in the past. With those changes, what do you think, if any changes, we'll see in the type of racing out here when we get to the elite women in those, racing on Sunday?
Well, it's a wide open track, so we're gonna have a really good racing, passing, and it's just technical, still technical, so that's gonna make the difference.
So, we're excited about this race, but what most of us are really excited about, in just about 3 weeks, we're gonna head to your hometown and race the World Championships on the Mariana Pahon BMX track. So talk about how that all came together and what we should expect when we get down to Medellin.
Well, the track is really good right now. We did some changes, so it's gonna be really good for racing. The whole city is expecting that race, and we're just waiting for you guys to go down there and have an amazing time for the World Championships that you're always gonna remember. It's gonna be great.
I'm excited about going down, and we get to actually interview Mariana in her hometown, do some stuff, so it should be fun and interesting. But this weekend, what are your goals for this weekend? You had that crash. So first of all, let's go back to Manchester. You had that crash in the final. Just talk about what happened and how you're doing now. Now we're back to the next round of the Supercross.
Manchester was a really good battle for me, trying to feel good, to feel fast, to feel strong. Feeling better, much better. After that crash, I took some days off. I'm ready on my bike again. I'm feeling much better, much technique, and I'll just do my best here.
All right, well, that's what we all want to see. So good luck this weekend, and we want to see you on your best.
Thank you.
All right, so Mariana Pahon, the queen of BMX. How would you top the queen of BMX? Well, we could go to the king of Manchester and the king of Supercross wins. That's going to be Liam Phillips. Liam, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. It's great.
So first off, congratulations on that win in Manchester. I know it was exciting for us to watch. I know you said it was a little bit difficult of the day for you, but still winning was awesome. So now we're here in Papendal. It's in the window. You forgot about that win already, I'm sure. So talk about the changes here on the track and how you're liking it.
Yeah, it's really good. Obviously, the sun's out, which is a massive bonus. The last few years we've been victim of some really bad weather. So unfortunately, it's pretty windy out there. The guys are we're all struggling a little bit. It just seems to be swirling, and 1 minute it can be a tailwind on one straight, and then a headwind the next time you go. So it's difficult. The track's tough, but yeah, looking forward to racing.
So as a rider, when you're on the gate and you say, I know you pay attention to a lot of things. So when you're on the gate and you notice those winds, how does it affect you? Because at the same point, you can't, the wind can't deter on how you're going to race, but how does that affect you when you're up there right before the start of, say, semifinal?
I think once you're actually in the in the race day itself, and you go from one lap to the next, you do obviously ride to the conditions, and you are aware of what's happening, but at the same time, you can't like in practice. The luxuries of practice is that I hit the first straight a few times and decided to pull out before jumping the triple, just because there's no need to take that risk. Whereas in a lap, you're not thinking like that. It's you put it all on the line and you go out and try and you want to win the lap. So it's for me, it's a case of just riding to the conditions, but that's the same for everybody.
So coming off a win, how do you help that propel you to have another good result this weekend?
It's a good question. I managed to do it last year with not too much emphasis really. It wasn't a case of trying to build from one race to the next. It was just a case of me turning up to a new track, a new venue in a new country, and wanting to do my best at that race. And the back end of my year, I found I was very relaxed and comfortable and confident in my riding abilities and where I was at physically, and that allowed me to go up onto the hill and just do my best. And that's, it sounds cliche, everybody says that, but ultimately that's all you can do, and that's all I try and do every time I race.
Well, we know we got to see the best race on the final. It might not have been your best race, but it was the best race of the day and you won. So again, congratulations on that 4th win, and we look forward to seeing you at the top game again this weekend.
Brilliant, thank you very much. Cheers guys.
So next up, we can go to a different perspective. We get it from our winner of our last round on the Supercross, but then we can go to the coaches side of things. One of the riders that has a lot of power in his stable, that'll be Wade Boots from Australia. Caroline Buchanan's won those first 2 rounds on the women's side. Sam Willoughby, always a threat. Anthony Dean, Bodie Turner, all those guys, Lauren Reynolds. So Wade, coming around, traveling the world, tell us what it's like to experience to going from an ex-racer to now working with these riders. How are you able to help them with your experience from the past?
I think the biggest thing that we're doing at the moment is just helping them make good decisions. So using our experiences from my history and the experience we've had together as a group, now it's just guiding them to make good decisions on their own, so they can just go out there and do the best they can do.
So this is the last race before those Olympic qualifiers for the countries and the riders. And I know you guys have a pretty good layout of how things are chosen, but how difficult is it still seeing, some of these riders, their dreams have been to, propel towards the Olympics, and it's still a choice at the end of maybe that last position for your guys on who you actually take?
Yeah, it's tricky. It's a strategy of one qualifying the nation, and that's where we're doing really well. And now it's all about just focusing on delivering results, and everybody's got an opportunity this weekend to prove themselves, to give a result for themselves and an opportunity to get selected for the Olympics. So we're just here to support the guys and provide them the best environment so they can actually do their job, is ride the bike very fast.
So in a busy year for travel for everyone, it's definitely difficult to come all around the world from Australia. So just talk about what it's like, those behind-the-scene things that we don't really see. We show up at a race, everybody's here, but talk about how much preparation there is for you as the leader of this team and the staff to get to each of these events.
Well, all the planning starts last year with all this stuff, so there's a lot behind the scenes that go on, so we can have a good perspective of what's about to happen and make the easiest route for the athlete. So it's great that they're sort of based in the States because it minimises their travel. We've come to a few of the events early this time and went down to South America early for Colombia and Rio. So we're just trying to combine the little camps and get the most out of it, but try not to be on the road more than 3 weeks, so that gets hard for everybody. So it's a balancing act, and one of our highest priorities this year is about life balance. So we're trying to get that really sorted, so again, staff and athletes can do their best job on the day.
All right, well, interesting stuff. Thanks for stopping by, and good luck to you and all your riders this weekend.
Thank you, Pete.
All right, so we saved the best for last. The current leader of the elite men's overall points rankings. You saw him win down in Argentina. didn't have the race that you wanted, but you're in that final in Manchester. So Corbin Sherraw, thanks for joining us. So first off, let's talk about how things have gone for you since that big win in Argentina.
Everything's gone pretty well, thankfully. I mean, I made the final in Manchester, and you really couldn't ask for more than that. You always want to race for the win throughout the day, and being in the final, you want to win, and just not being able to get that is tough. But getting there is a big accomplishment. I mean, 2 World Cup finals in a season is pretty good. I mean, that means you're riding well, and I couldn't be more thankful than to be in those 2 finals.
So now we move on to stop number 3. I think it's one of these tracks that probably fits your style of riding. I'm not going to speak for you, but I think the changes in it are definitely, you know, the way you ride, as well as how much I think you've been one of those top riders. A little bit of improvement made a lot of difference so far this year. So you've been able to ride the track so far. Just talk about the track and how you're feeling out there.
Yeah, the improvements they made on the track are huge. I mean, I was never a huge fan of the crossover and all that, the way the track went, and to get it to go just 3 180s and have a berm jump, and the big jumps they actually put in is nice. I mean, it's a nice big race course. It's full throttle. There's no backing off, no brakes. It's almost a complete 180 from Manchester. It's just full throttle. You don't have to check up. There's nothing that is super crazy that you got to do. It's just as fast as you can go through the whole track. So it's a lot of fun, and I feel it suits my style, and give it a go and see how the race goes.
So after that win in Argentina, I think you've been one of those guys that always had the potential, and you were right there. But now it's like, you know, do you go into these races thinking any different? I mean, I know you won a race, it was a while ago back in South Africa, but now, you know, your level stepped up, and it seems every lap that you had in Manchester, except for that final, you were one of the top guys to follow. So has that win really helped you, you know, in your mindset on attacking these tracks a little bit differently?
Yeah, I definitely believe the win helps. I mean, if anybody gets a win, it's a huge confidence booster. I mean, it's like, whoa, I can really do this. And I always had that. I always knew that I was one of the best guys out there, and it was just something I could never put the whole thing together at a time and do it. Like I said, like you said, I've had a win earlier. I've won like once throughout the year. So I've always known I had it, but it's just been tweaking that mindset just a little bit and getting the right balance of everything to put it all together in a race. And I've just been doing a lot of work with the staff back at home and finding that mindset and getting it right. And I believe we're going in the right direction. So it's good.
Well, I, for one, definitely know you have, you know, you've been podium, obviously winning that race, but also podium on the USA BMX Tour. So it's great to see you get to your full potential, and we're excited to sit back and watch you on this track this weekend, as well as those World Championships. So good luck. Carrying that red plate, I'm sure, doesn't put any pressure on you, but I know you just want to go out there and do your best.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
All right, so Corbin Sherraw, our overall leader in the Supercross Series. Thanks for stopping by, Corbin. So that's going to wrap up our show. We'll give you the schedule of this weekend's events, if I could see it. Our schedule for the event. So tomorrow we'll have our qualification rounds. You see it will be for elite men and elite women. We'll have all those. And then we move on into those time trials and the super finals for tomorrow night. So that'll be on. So then on Saturday we move over. On Sunday, excuse me, we move over to that racing with those 8 finals, quarterfinals for the elite women, and as well as we progress our way through those main events for the day, which will be around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it'll be interesting to see a great race here in Papendal. So, and you'll see we've got all the information from the riders, and now tomorrow just to get things kicked off with those qualification races. So it'll be interesting to see who can propel this newly built track here in Papendal and come out on top. So thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Pete Dylewski. We will see you here tomorrow once racing commences. I'll have Jason Richardson with me once again, and we'll get all that coverage for you right here on BMX Live TV. Thanks so much for tuning in.